MG is well known for making affordable sports cars through the years, but since its Chinese takeover, the cars have gone more mainstream. You've got the MG6, you've got the MG GS, and you have the MG3, which I've been driving this week. Its main rivals are the Ford Fiesta and the Dacia Sandero, but this particular model is the Sport, which is priced at just above £9,800, so I'm sure you'll agree that's rather cheap. But can you have cheap and cheerful? Let's find out. The MG3's price may be bargain bin, but that's not to say the exterior looks have been compromised. In fact, I think it looks rather good, and I'm sure it will appeal to younger motorists. There's a choice of 10 colours, so you can really make the car your own, but if that's not quite enough, you can choose from MG's graphic packs, which will add funky decals to make the car even more unique. Despite its low asking price, don't think that you'll have to go without luxuries in the MG3. You've got electric windows all round, you've got air conditioning, you've got Bluetooth connectivity, as well as a nice little cubby hole up here where you will find USB and auxiliary connections, and you'll also have a leather steering wheel with red stitching and multi-function command. Space in the front is pretty good. I've got quite a bit of headroom. The steering wheel does only move up or down, but even so, I find it quite easy to get a good driving position quite quickly. Overall, it's pretty good in the front. Yes, the interior quality is a little bit cheap, it's a little bit scratchy, but it's a cheap car. To criticise the cheapness of the quality of the plastics is a bit like going into a greasy spoon and moaning that the mill's not good enough. You get what you pay for, frankly. So I have to say I was quite surprised about the amount of space in the back. I was expecting it to come at a premium. I'm 6'2", so I'm quite tall, but even so, I've got quite a bit of headroom. Got quite a bit of legroom as well, so the back can easily be used for adults for long journeys. So the boot in the MG3 is 285 litres, which is not class leading, but it's about on par with its rivals, apart from the Dacia Sandero that is able to boast 320 litres. But the 60/40 seats can be folded down, and that will give a higher luggage capacity of 1,262 litres. The MG3 may have a sporty exterior, but does it have the performance to match it? Sadly no, there's only one engine on offer in the MG3, and that's a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated unit. It offers 105 brake horsepower, which seems okay on paper, but in the real world it's just simply too sluggish. Nowadays many hatchbacks choose to have a smaller engine with a turbocharger. This offers a good blend of economy and performance, and the MG3 could really do with this because the engine does have to be worked quite hard, as does the gearbox, and the power comes at around 5,000 revs, by which time your ears are bleeding and the engine is rather noisy to say the least. Speaking of the gearbox is not bad, the change is accurate enough, but it does make quite a nasty clunking sound. Hopefully I will be able to demonstrate that for you now. It's just a really ugly noise, but at this point you may be thinking, is there anything good about driving the MG3? Yes there is. The MG3 does have quite a good ace up the sleeve, and that's for handling. Give the MG3 a winding road and it really starts to come to life. It's not the type of handling you would expect from a car this cheap, but it truly is fantastic. There's plenty of grip on offer, there's very little body roll, and the steering is hydraulic as opposed to electronic, which means you get better feedback and it's better weighted. But there is a price you have to pay for this wonderful handling, and that's for ride. The ride is firm to say the least, and even on smooth roads it bumps about and it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But if you can put up with that, then you really have a car that can match a hot hatch in regards to handling. So all in all, the MG3 does represent good value for money. It's also better looking than the Dacia Sandero, and it undercuts the equivalent Ford Fiesta by around £4,000. However, it's not without its drawbacks. The 1.5 litre engine is very rev hungry and it does feel rather dated, and the ride can be too firm at times. But this could be the perfect car for a teenager who's just passed the test. They want a relatively sporty hatchback, but they don't want the high insurance groups of high price. But the MG3 meets both those criteria. It's cheap and it's cheap to insure, so this could be the perfect car, but unfortunately it just doesn't have the high levels of refinement, performance and quality that others may be looking for in a hatchback.